Back to another YouTube video. It's your boy Ryan G. Today we're gonna react to the biggest WWE upgrades ever. Let's get right into the video.
Have a gambling problem? Call 1-888.
Well, we have an advertisement, so yeah.
Always remember the good old days of WWE when the music was iconic, the championships looked beautiful, and the gimmicks had real depth. Yeah, that's what we say, but was it always true? While wrestling has had its fair share of downgrades, you'd be surprised by how much has actually improved. I asked you for the best WWE upgrades of all time, and I was honestly shocked by the response. 18,000 likes, 340 responses. It's like Hollywood is calling me. So today we'll take a look at the biggest WWE upgrades in history. Not all of them because it's impossible. I'm too viral. Kane's evolution in WWE. I think this is literally the biggest upgrade ever when it comes to wrestlers' gimmick. But like, we also gotta remember, after this, we got more. Like, we did get more. I will never forgive WWE for bringing back Masked Kane, but like this, right? Like, this is one of the most iconic looking wrestlers ever. WrestleMania going from being...
Yeah, I can agree. Kane's character development, he had different gimmicks way before Kane.
One night to being 2 nights. I totally agree. It used to be a pain in the ass. I'm like, I want more matches. I want to have WrestleMania for longer. I want to get that experience. But by the time you get that main event, God forbid it's Triple H versus Roman Reigns, you just want to sleep. Especially in my case. It's 6 a.m. I should be sleeping. And this ain't helping people. As a matter of fact, I do have some sleep problems. I think I just found my fix. Tajiri, posted by Justin. I actually like his videos. Even though I was watching wrestling at the time, I was too young to watch it religiously. Wasn't he the first though in the WWE that had green mist?
Yeah. And then I think, what's his name? The Great Mood. What? It's like another guy. But he was in like TNA. It's like the Great Muda. And then Sonata used it, Lord Tensai used it.
Imagine swallowing that, by the way. Like, it burns your face, right? Imagine swallowing that. I have a hot ass after spicy food. Easy, LMAO. Okay, so I get what AEW tried to do right here. It's all about the tradition. But at a certain point, you gotta realize not everything was better back in the day. Not the biggest upgrade, but the tinge of blue changed so much in the Intercontinental Championship. I agree. Went from being one of my least favorite championships in the WWE to one of my favorites. It's all this championship really needed to look like the previous versions of the title. So good, so good. For me personally, it's the upgrade of the new logos. Like how simple and more gritty it is. Well, I wouldn't say it's more simple, it's more gritty, and that's what I really appreciate. This is my least favorite era of the logos. This at least looks unique again, in some shape or form, right? Maybe it says SmackDown, but Sound we will. God damn it. A bit of a newer one, but LA Knight. What even was Max Dupree? Vince McMahon's fetish, Vince McMahon's wet dream. He had a wet dream once and said, yes, Max Dupree is what we're gonna call him. It's an absolute upgrade. Absolutely, right? For what it's worth though, he did make it work. I can see Vince McMahon's vision. I just don't agree with it, you know? The United States Championship, and it got a lot of likes. Might like it myself. It's a hot take for whatever reason, but I feel like the new United States Championship title is the most beautiful US title we ever had, which is a total of 3. It's one of the most beautiful mid-card titles I've ever seen, so much better. It looks...
Which US title do you guys enjoy more?
So much less like a toy. Beautiful. Anyone remember how shitty the old NXT title was? The new ones are a...
I actually like the old NXT title. I don't know if it's the design, the size of the belt, I don't really know. But I like both titles are good though.
Definite upgrade, but I still kinda prefer the one Adam Cole held. Honestly, my favorite NXT championship is this one. I remember people saying I miss the old NXT title, the one that looked like this American Got Talent shit. It's bad. Like, y'all have the audacity to shit on the WWE CW title, and then you compliment this. We can't have a normal civil conversation, people, at this point. Honestly, it's a controversial take, but I think the modern World Heavyweight Championship design is an upgrade. The big gold is legendary and objectively a better design, but to me, when I see that belt, I think...
Yeah, this belt is definitely an upgrade, but the old World Heavyweight Championship, I love that title too.
WCW. The modern one feels more like a WWE championship, but call me crazy, but it's because it has a giant WWE logo on it. Maybe that. In all seriousness, I can't agree or disagree really. Obviously, I prefer this bad boy. If I could have a romantic relationship with a championship, I'd pick that one. That's all I'm gonna say. Never did anything, and don't you dare accuse me of such things. Yeah, it looks a bit more modern, it fits in the WWE a bit more. Maybe it is nostalgia, but I will always have a special place in my heart for the big old championship. With that being said, this is my favorite wrestling championship right now. The only problem is it lacks prestige, but that's not the design problem. WWE going HD, absolutely, but what I've also realized is that it's so weird. You can watch footage from 2009 and then like 2004, it looks so different. Like you can tell so much time.
The graphics, the way television changed, and you know, the effects and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'm just talking.
Has passed, but you can look at footage from 2025 and then from 2008 and there's barely any difference. There's no difference at all. I always found that fascinating because up until 2008 everything looked so different. Footage from 1999, from 80s, 2000s, but we're at a point right now where it barely gets any better, which is crazy. You basically see the same wrestlers in same definition, just young.
Times have changed, guys. John Cena's a heel. 20 years ago. I just had to bring it up again because you know it's one of the biggest talkabouts in wrestling right now.
Younger. I know some people hate it, but I think the gold in the center is a nice touch. It's one of these things where I don't know whether I agree or disagree with. At the end of the day, it looks kinda the same, but I like the previous championship because the red color really stood out. I like the new WWE championship, but something's missing. Maybe the color ain't right. I don't know. From injury news update Orton to Legend Killer has to be in the conversation. I've seen so many discussion, which is the best version of Randy Orton, and to me is pretty much this one. From like 2003 to 2007 or 8. And again, probably just nostalgia. Randy ditching the ozone to
The Legend Killer. Hey, I can say his old theme song is better than his current one. I don't know. Y'all tell me in the comments.
obviously the RKO. It did wonders for his career. You know, that's what made him a total package. Great wrestler, looks great, great music, and a great finisher. Why are you still playing me this garbage? I'm gonna get big time heat for this, but the Attitude Era title is easily much better than Winged Eagle. Y'all know my opinion on this. I 100% agree.
I agree on that too.
I always preferred the Attitude Era Championship because it's bigger and the blue color really stands out. Again, Winged Eagle is beautiful, I just prefer this one. One of the worst titles to one of the best. One of the biggest things I appreciate about Triple H's WWE. I was about to say he really respects tradition, and in some ways he goes back to the way it should have been, but then he does shit like this, right? Easiest answer ever. I think you did it wrong though. The only time he still dresses up as Stardust is probably in his bedroom, doing some nasty shit, you know. I don't think he shouldn't do that. Ambrose to John Moxley. Ooh, a bit of a hot take. I don't know. Whatever is happening with John Moxley right now ain't the best. From Ray Sun to the greatest wrestler to ever exist. That's a very, very strong statement right here. Y'all remember watching Dominic and being like, he's a baby. This guy is a baby with his generic ass look, generic ass attire, no microphone skills. All of a sudden, this guy be fucked. He raised up so many women in the WWE and he's not done. He's not even close. No, in all seriousness, Dominic is one of a kind. I really love his work. Believe it or not, like, he is one of the biggest draws in professional wrestling. Wade Barrett changing his finisher from Wasteland to a Bullhammer. I think I'm gonna have to agree with this one. Wasteland was like a shittier version of Attitude Adjustment, and people didn't like Attitude Adjustment in the
Wasteland and Bullhammer. Hey, two good finishers. Wade Barrett, underrated, you know, professional wrestler. They could have did much more with him. He won IC title a couple times, tag team title. He was a good wrestler. They might bring him back in the ring. I know he's a commentary, so we'll see.
first place. Head of the Table will always be one of my favorite WWE themes. So we're talking about going from the Shield music to the Tribal Chief music, Head of the Table. I agree, but I think the previous version of the song was better than the one we have right now. I can appreciate the current one in special moments, but it's a bit much, isn't it? It's just a bit much. This has to be the biggest glow up for a wrestler in years. That's what I'm talking about, man. Sometimes getting released by the WWE is the best thing that could happen.
But do you guys think Dolph Ziggler would ever come back to WWE if he, had a falling out with the company he was in, and WWE was like the last option? You think he would ever come back?
In your career, obviously you might not make that much money, which I don't know what's the case for Dolph Ziggler, but
And that means they should actually do something with him this time. He had his World Heavyweight Championship title reign. They gave him his little, and then they didn't capitalize, but yeah.
I think all of us can somewhat relate to the situation. Sometimes you gotta choose whether you still want to be creative and do something interesting in professional wrestling or just get that big fat paycheck. That's why so many wrestlers just leave or get released in this case. From jobber tag team wrestler to WrestleMania main eventer Jey Uso. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. I remember the times when they weren't even in WWE video games. I remember the first time they were in a WWE video game, I believe was WWE 13. I could be wrong, but I remember people being like, why are they not in the video games? Because they didn't really matter that much on television. Cody's gear. Okay, a bit of a hot take. I don't know what it is about professional wrestling, but unless you're really tall or jacked, pants work better. I don't know what it is about it. Pants work better. Okay, now I see what you did right here. It's definitely a big upgrade. A very big upgrade. Two upgrades, I would say. Going from white to blue could definitely help. And the hat was definitely a nice touch. Edge in his second one was better in ring. In some ways,
Nah, I don't know.
I gotta agree, even his spear improved. I really appreciated his work.
Wait, no, I could be wrong. I like both, but I only say his first because that's his longest time in the company. That's the only reason why I say that.
And I think it all comes down to him actually working a lot more, training a lot more, appreciating every single match he still has. I can only imagine at points you just kind of take it for granted. And of course, the most obvious one. We already talked about that. Absolutely. From one of the most rejected WWE superstars of all time to the one we keep begging for to show up. Crazy how wrestling works, and I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always,
Alright guys, that was the biggest WWE upgrades ever. You guys tell me what you guys want to see next in the comment down below. I got more videos coming. Subscribe, like, comment, and yeah. Tell me what you guys want to see next. And yeah, I just said that. Uriah.